Well, I can't see it now.
Kuri-chan feed me something. Ooh. American style beef stew.
No, not stew. It's pot roast. I normally make it in the big slow cooker, except I brought it over in a container because I didn't want to bring the big pot.
Can I taste?
Yeah. Make sure you get a piece of the meat.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
いただきます。So soft. How did you make it?
I kind of cooked it in the pan first, and then you put it in the slow cooker. But when you cook it for 8 hours instead of 6 hours, it's a lot more tender. When I normally cook it, I'm usually cooking it fast so we can eat it. So I normally do 6 hours, but this time I did 8 on low, and it came out like that. Try a vegetable.
Just the skin.
Just skin? Yeah, that was the
Inside is melted.
Mm.
Buusan, you wanna eat?
No, Rick, I'm okay.
Why?
I'll
You
eat
are
it
not
later.
hungry?
I'll eat it later.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, Kuchan, did you shoot your Chris's cooking?
Not really. I sent some of it, but not a lot.
Okay, so I have editing magic hand.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make for you guys
Okay.
how Chris cooking.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Okay, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of what I did. I bought 2 separate pieces of meat, each about 2.5 pounds. Chuck roast. I didn't get round roast. I got the chuck roast because I wanted it to tear apart easier. What most people do, you season it heavily with salt and pepper or any other seasonings you want on it. To get the best seal of flavor in the meat, you sear it really quickly for about 2 minutes each side. Top side, bottom side, side, and side, because the meat's pretty thick once you pull it out and you get to see what I'm talking about. From there you add, you chop up your onions, potatoes, carrots. Make sure they're pretty thick pieces because you don't want them to get too mushy and be too soggy because they're going to be sitting in the slow cooker for about 8 hours. Then you get, most people do it with the vegetable broth or a low sodium beef broth or regular beef broth as your base. If you want a little bit thicker base to make a thicker gravy, you use about 2 tablespoons of flour to mix in there. Don't worry about the lumps because it'll all dissolve in itself. Also, you want to have about a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar to add a little bit more taste. So basically all your ingredients that you're including is to add more flavor to it. Now for my particular thing, I use low sodium beef broth, about a cup of that. I use the 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. I also use what probably would equate to about 3/4 of a cup of pineapple juice. So all in all, I made about 13 ounces of liquid base in here. And then I added a shot of pineapple vinegar that I buy also to add more flavor to it. Also, some people put garlic inside or whatever to add more flavor as a vegetable. At the end of it, when it was done, I added the pineapple slices on top just to kind of cook it and give it a little bit more texture and color. So here we are. Once it's done cooking, it'll look something like this. Not all that beautiful, but from back here we can see. Oh, chip. I have a pretty big enough way to do this. I went to the store to buy a platter from the 99-cent store. I'll bring it close to everybody so you can see. See how that looks? it just tears apart so easily. Oh, man. This is too big for what I really want to do, so I'm going to sit this over here. I'm going to get out the smaller tongs. Get out a smaller fork. We're really gonna get into this. See that? It just comes apart. Look how. See this? See this? Now this actually cooked for slow cooking for 8 hours because you want it to stay tender as it sits in the juices and whatnot. Once it's in there, the crock pot will obviously stay on for to keep it warm and moist and juicy. But I'm gonna cheat. This is so good. Hold on, so you can see it. Oh, so good. I'm gonna use a different fork. So this is my tasting fork now. Get another one. I'm tearing it up right now so I can store it a little bit better, but this is really, really good. You can see what I'm doing. It's just so good. I should try a back piece. We gotta get a different fork again. That's bad. Oh, it tastes so good. Here's another one. This is just so good of meat. See, chuck roast is easier to shred like this, and round roast is easier to slice. So it all depends on what type of roast beef you're trying to go for, but chuck roast is easier to shred. It has a little bit of fat, but not as much that connects it. So if you want more of the sliced roast beef, you want to go ahead and get the chuck roast. Again, I'm not a super duper chef. I just like to cook what I like to cook. 2.5 pounds of chuck roast beef. Looks so good. So here we go. I'm gonna put it in this container and add some more of the gravy, which is now inundated with pineapples, carrots, potatoes, and onions. And then, believe it or not, underneath all this, let's see if I can get, this one. Oh, see, look at that. That's the piece underneath it. Oh, sorry. Believe it or not, that's the piece underneath it. Look how easy it's coming apart. Like I said, how juicy and tender it is. Oh, there's just so much. That one's gonna sit in there, and I'm gonna let this one stay warming within it after I get some of this out. There's just so much in here. So much. Oh, this is gonna be the better one as it just marinates in it. Oh, that's gonna be the better one. But 2.5 pounds here, 2.5 pounds in there still. So we'll let this one sit over the next day. Look at that. I take the spoon. And can cut the meat. Look, just look at that right there. Look at that right there. See this big piece of meat? Watch this. Piece of meat, we're gonna put it right there. Look at that. Look how easily that just, so good. Take some to Marica. Marica, you were told not to eat just the meat. You need more to go with it, like rice or salad. What are you doing?
I can't stop it.
You get some rice and salad. Ah!
ごめんなさい。See you later. Buusan is scary sometimes.